Now that is one large mural. I noticed this while I was getting gas. And interestingly enough, I lived in Cleveland, Tennessee most of my life. And I've also been to Sweetwater more times than I can count because I also had an internship at the Sequoia Birthplace Museum many years ago. But I have never noticed this big, giant Sweetwater mural. Like, it almost makes me think of the big, giant Hollywood sign, but just a little more southern, a little more country, and dare I say, a little more redneck. But that's not the point. Anyway, what's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all with another fun-filled, adventurous vlog. And today we are on the outskirts of Sweetwater, Tennessee. It's about 45 minutes about northeast of Cleveland, Tennessee. And here in this area, there is something very special. And we're going to drive down the road, and I'm going to show you what it is. We're going to have a fun day today. The place that we are going to today is the Lost Sea, Caverns and Village. Anyway, if you all do not know what the Lost Sea is, the Lost Sea, otherwise known as Craighead Caverns, is the largest underwater lake in the United States of America. It stretches about over the size of a football field, and it goes as deep as about 70 feet. And here, tucked along the roadside, here is the old Tennessee historical marker, the Lost Sea. Features of national significance include the world's largest underwater ground lake and the rare anthrodite formation cave flowers. The cave also contains numerous other forms of stalactites and stalagmites. The bones and footprints of a giant Pleistocene jaguar have been found. The animal measured approximately 8 feet long and weighed 500 pounds. And that is another cool thing about the Lost Sea, is down in the deep depths of the cave, back in the, I think it was around the 70s or the 80s, they found the bones of a giant jaguar. And here at the visitor center and entrance to the cave, they do have the bones, or I think they might be casts. I think they actually might be bones. Now, also another cool thing about the Lost Sea is deep down in the lake, they have stocked salmon. And salmon, if you are from the area, you know that that's one of the cool features about the Lost Sea. There's actually an interesting reason why they have salmon down in the lake. You see, a long time ago, scientists were doing a big study to see if, like, where the water would go from the lake and the cave. And so they used salmon, figuring, you know, salmon, they have a natural urge to, you know, flow upstream or find upstream and go there. Find their spot, do their thing, then die off. However, there was a major drawback to this study, and that is because researchers kept on feeding the salmon, and the salmon would not go anywhere. So anyway, here in the Lost Sea, there are some salmon that are upwards of about 3 feet long. And again, in the visitor center that we're about to check out, they also have the largest one ever caught that is taxidermied. Now, it does look like they have been doing quite a few renovations, because last time I was here, this looked way different. I actually believe this is actually very much new, because if you look over here to the village, looks like they're cutting down a few trees and working on some buildings. And this building also feels very much like the Sequoia Birthplace Museum, just because of the overarching the new structure that is the Lost Sea. This is really cool. This is really cool to see that they have been renovating. I'm guessing as of recently, or maybe within the last couple of years. All right, you guys, before we head into the cave, this is the trout. This is the largest trout that has ever been found in the lake. He weighed about 16 pounds. And the cool thing about this is all the trout in the lake, the Lost Sea, they are all male. But, I mean, that would be a trophy in itself if you could catch something like that. And here's the display case with the cougar I was telling you all about outside. Here are some other artifacts that have been found in the cave, like an old mining pick, in the pit where the cougar was found. This hairpin was found, or this comb. Also, they do have some various different stalactites and stalagmites here in the case. And here is a brass molding of what the cougar looked like. And from what I understand, this cougar was about 8 feet long. He was very, very large. And right beneath that, here are some other artifacts that they found from this particular cougar. Well, actually, I think these are casts. I think the original cougar is on display at another museum. Oh yeah. And here is a stalagmite. Maybe a stalactite. Oh, this is cool. This is definitely new. Although, I believe that it's still the same big yellow tunnel. Yes. I remember. Oh my goodness, it's been a good minute, you guys. Last time I was here, I was in the 5th grade, and, well, I was about 11. Present day, I'm about to be 32 in a few days. So, yeah, maybe this is a perfect time. Looks like they've definitely got some new, I think they may have actually painted this. Let me see, regulations. Please stay on trails behind guides. Parents do not allow children to run ahead. No smoking, of course. Please place all litter in receptacles provided. Do not break, damage, deface cave walls or formations. Tennessee state law prohibits vandalism of caves under penalty of a $50 to $500 fine. Take nothing but pictures. Leave nothing but footprints. I wonder if that also includes vlogging. Probably, because in the age of the media, social medias and other whatnots and other computer stuffs, it's probably all right to vlog. And we are here at the Lost Sea adventure. You know what, you guys? I forgot just how big exactly the Lost Sea is. And today, guys, you'll also learn some other stuff as well.
Alright, so we have 3 different formations to talk about here. The first one being what you see up top. These are stalactites. Stalactites hang tight to the ceiling. As those start to grow and develop, eventually they will start to drip and make a new formation down below. These are stalagmites. Now, I know they sound very similar, so stalactites hang tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites might grow tall enough to reach the top someday. If you're not careful, you might bump into them. There's a lot of different ways to remember them. Regardless, they will eventually meet in the middle. When that happens, you get a stalactostalagmite, or a column for short, like you see right over here. Now, you're going to see these formations all around the cave today, so make sure to keep an eye out for them. As you make your way down, the pathway is going to change from concrete down to clay, so just watch your step.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is awesome. Although the outside may have changed, you guys. The cave,
You guys watch your head coming down.
it hasn't changed all that much.
Back in the 1820s, a Cherokee chief brought his tribe down here, and they used the cave as meeting grounds. They left behind arrowheads, broken pieces of pottery, jewelry, all kinds of amazing artifacts like those were pretty much just abandoned down here for nearly 100 years. When the cave had pretty much been rediscovered at this point, it was right around the 1920s. 1927, we started to commercialize the cave. So that's when we started to put in pathways, lights, little things like that. We've pretty much always wanted to be a tourist attraction, but it's definitely been hops, skips, and jumps throughout our timeline. Now, 1965 onward, we've been the Lost Sea. Prior to that, 1927, we were the Craighead Caverns, named after the Cherokee chief, Chief Craighead. Back then, your ticket was 5 cents. You could come down and explore the entire cave on your own with no map, no tour guide, no pathways, none of that fun stuff. Back then, it was just an open cave. You could come down and explore all on your own. The main attraction back then was not the cave, it was mainly the lights. We were one of the very first illuminated attractions here in East Tennessee. You come down and see the running electricity for 5 cents, more than anything else. Now, there was a lot of teenagers that came down here at the time. This would be a perfect hangout place because of the constant cool temperatures. It was a nice little escape from any weather that's happening up on the surface. They found a lot of those artifacts themselves, returned quite a few of them back to us, and now they're in the display case in the ticket building. You guys might have seen them while you were waiting. If not, I would definitely go give it a good visit later on. Now, our next thing is right here. Now, these right here are amphidites. Anthos is a Greek word that translates to flower, so we call them cave flowers. The cave flowers here are only found in 8 caves across the entire world. The fact that we have these is already pretty incredible, but we actually have a majority of the world's population, around 70%, right here in this cave alone. Now, these grow 1 cubic centimeter every 1,000 years. That's roughly the length of your pinky nail, somewhere in that range. Now, you gotta keep in mind, since we have a majority of the world's population right here in this cave, and they are so slow growing, these are incredibly rare for a good reason. You're more than welcome to take pictures, you can use video, that's fine. The flash on the camera doesn't hurt them, it's just human interaction that does. Somebody did jump up and touch these about 20 years ago, and they've not grown any since. Now, you gotta remember, a cubic centimeter, 1,000 years, it's a very, very long time to get taken away just like that. So please, please be careful. And right up here is going to be the active ones. They're in this little pocket. Thankfully, they are tucked away from most human interaction, unless you happen to have a really, really good sneeze. I don't think we have to worry about it. So right up here, we have the active ones. As you can see, they have a pretty different look to them. The white spikes, that's going to be that new and active growth. That orange base is aragonite. That's what they're made out of. Aragonite is a form of calcium carbonate that also mixes in with limestone and magnesium. All those things put together with just the perfect amount of humidity, you start to get these spikes. Now eventually these are going to spread from here all the way to the back side of this wall. So all the orange that you're seeing, that's the beginning of some cave flowers. You guys feel free to take pictures whenever you're ready to move on. Just meet me right up here.
Oh, that is so cool. The majority of these cave flowers only grow here in 8 different places around the world. And this is where the majority of them are, you guys.
Kind of cold. As long as you're staying still, your stuff's going to stay cold. So it makes sense. If you bury your fruits and vegetables down here, your food would last 2 weeks longer than it would up on the surface exposed to the elements. Works like a perfect early refrigerator for the Sweetwater Valley. But on top of that, they use the clay. Now, a lot of skincare companies, they love using clay for mud masks, things like that. They didn't use it for that. They used it for paint. If you mix red Keel clay with buttermilk, you get a toothpaste-like substance that you can use as paint. So if you passed an old red barn on your way here, you might have seen that paint still being used on it even here today. Now, this pathway is pretty bumpy on the sides, so I would recommend staying towards the middle. Just watch your step. You have to go and follow me.
But anyway, guys, as our guide was saying, this room right here is as big as a 3-story building. Just think about that. And also the clay in this cave as well. They used it for a lot of makeup products and, well, another pot. Well, I think it was mostly pottery for the most part. But this cave. You know what? If you're from the East Tennessee area, I really recommend that y'all check out the Lost Sea.
When I first heard this story, I thought it was a little crazy, and you'll understand why in just a second. Leaching vats are giant sifting pans. They're mining for a certain material. Now, whenever I say mining in caves, most people assume diamonds, precious gemstones, things like that. That's a really good guess. Not in our cave. There was actually a saltpeter mining production that was happening down here. Saltpeter makes gunpowder. In order to get saltpeter, you need potassium nitrate. That's what they were trying to get. Now, potassium nitrate is technically found in the walls, but they found an easier way to get it. They melted bat poop. It sounds weird, but bear with me. If you melt down bat poop, you get a very high concentrate of liquid potassium nitrate. It'll start to fill up the trough at the bottom, and then eventually pour down here to the bowl at the end. When it reaches the bowl, it's just pure liquid potassium nitrate that they can add the extra ingredients back into, like lye soap shavings, pieces of charcoal from the torches they used at the time. As they stirred around to let it cool down, they would start to get hardened saltpeter crystals to form around the rim of that bowl. Those crystals could be sent off to refineries and developed into gunpowder from there. Most of the refineries that we were sourced through were down in Georgia. Now, I know if you were north of us, like Kentucky, they pretty much stayed right there local. Mammoth Cave actually had the highest statistic for gunpowder production. 1 out of 3 of the rifles shot in the Civil War came from Mammoth Cave, the gunpowder source from them. Right here we have the oldest known documented date of the entire cave, 1863. A lot of people question if the Cherokee tribe that was down here wrote anything. If they have, we haven't found it yet. So in the meantime, we have 1863. This is the oldest known documented date along the walls here in the cave. It was carbon date tested. We figured out that it is authentically from the Civil War. Now this was put here from the charcoal at the end of the soldiers' torches. So of course there always comes the question of how is it staying so well? It's the high humidity. It's perfectly trapping it onto the wall. Now the little white scratches that you're seeing, that's where we took small pieces off, sent off to the lab to get it tested.
Just think about that, you guys. That is actual graffiti from the Civil War.
That's actually essential.
That's pretty darn cool. Definitely. Oh,
Hey, don't feel bad. I've been there, I've done that. I get it.
Oh yeah.
I've been here about 4 years now, so I have the cave memorized like the back of my hand. I will say, when most of the tour guides first start out, there's always something.
Yeah?
I know in my first 2 weeks, I probably had the highest track record for most oopses. I fell face first down the yellow tunnel, slid all the way down to the bottom in front of 40 people.
Ow!
Yeah. I'm still here though. I overcame the embarrassment. It was a really awkward tour. They didn't talk to me for an hour and a half. It was really, really awkward. But yeah. You live and you learn, you know? When you work with the public, you gotta just roll with that. That's right. Literally. This is originally a whirlpool. Once again, if you look up, you can see how flat the ceiling is. The little concave portions all around. As it starts to swirl back down, you get the bedrock pendants left behind. Now, once again, this is the only room you can see that on this tour. We do offer other tours here, like the wild tour. We get to do a sleepover down here. You get to go spelunking, cave crawling, do a behind-the-scenes tour, the boat ride, the regular tour. All that for $50 a person. I think it's a really good deal for what it is. Now, if you're interested in that tour, I will go ahead and break your heart a little bit. We are fully booked out every single Saturday until the end of May. But the other days are open, so have other options. You know, Sunday's also a great day. Now, if you do want to stay the night in the cave, of course, it is a very fun experience. I would absolutely.
Wow, you
Now,
guys.
the Kiwanis Club is actually who does
Anyway,
it.
in the 1950s,
They're really
this
great
was turned
guys.
into a fallout
It's a
shelter
really good community
for the
group. They
Cold
help
War.
donate all these supplies, and as they
And these
stock all in, they
supplies,
ship them on massive
these
pallets.
are some of the remains of those
However, as soon
rations.
as we open them up, the cave
It's
started
so
to
cool, you
drop.
guys.
It's really humid.
Looks
They
like one of the
started breaking
boxes
out.
is starting to rust.
So that's why a lot of the supplies had to be taken
And
back
also,
out of the cave. That way we can preserve
we
some
also
of the
have
shape
some more
back
cave
today,
flowers.
but the rest of them were donated. Now I'm going to turn the lights out in just a moment. Just make sure all your electronics are put away. Alright guys, lights going out in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now this is almost total natural darkness. Turn your electronics off, please.
Okay. Anyway, you guys, that was total darkness. And by the way, just behind this cave entrance right here, which goes deeper into the caverns, that is where they found the cougar all those years ago. And I was right, the actual skeleton is in the Natural Museum of American Scientists, or not, of American Sciences in New York. Maybe one of these days we'll have to go and try to see it. Ooh,
Now,
that
the
looks
glowing
scary.
red hole here is called the Devil's Hole. It goes down 13 feet, shaved off the size of a softball. We don't really know where it goes from here. If you've been good, you shouldn't see anything. You've been bad, well, you know. You might see the face of the devil staring back at you. Hesitation means guilt. Have fun. Yes.
Yes, very guilty.
The bottom, of course, to match it, but
They called this the Baby Grand
it was
Canyon.
formed the exact same way, so kind of given it has this very similar shape pattern.
Oh, and you don't want that. But yeah, you guys, they call this the Baby Grand Canyon. Except there is no river.
Right here along the left wall, we actually left this fence out for the exact reason that you get a nice close-up view. If you look close, you're going to see hexagonal contusions, which is a fancy word for there are hexagons on the ground. Magma went underneath our feet at one point. As it starts to cool and crystallize, it came up through the ground and left behind these amazing little hexagons. So you guys feel free to take pictures of them.
That's cool. Those hexagons are awesome, you guys. And also, we are inside of the Baby Grand Canyon.
I wish we had a postcard that had like the real one and the baby one next to each other, because I swear you could not tell the difference in some places. I know right here it looks like what they call Horseshoe Bend. Once you see it, it is there forever.
Oh my gosh.
Especially if you stand like right where I'm at, you get the full view of it. It's super cool.
Horseshoe Bend.
I feel like you could totally do like a little stop motion western movie down here.
Yeah, that would be cool.
We did get pranked a couple years ago where they put those little troll dolls from the 90s all over it. It was actually really perfectly staged. I give them that. It kind of hurt my soul to see it because they touched the cave, but also they could not have picked better placement, really and truly. Down here on the left is a waterfall called Crystal Falls. Crystal Falls is the only visible water source you have that leads down to the lake. It's 98% pure water, 2% mineral. It's absolutely beautiful. You guys are more than welcome to stop and take pictures. Down here on the right will be one of the Moonshine stills from the Cavern Tavern. No free samples. I'm sorry.
That is called Crystal Falls, you guys. Apparently it is 99% clear water. You know what, you guys? I could probably say that that little waterfall would definitely put Ruby Falls to shame. Just saying. Oh, and there's a still.
It's actually right behind our warehouse building. So where our maintenance crew works and everything up on the surface, the green building way up yonder in the upper parking lot, it's somewhere back to there on the backside of the mountain. This is where the natural spring originally starts. It carves through here, pockets. It also continues over our head. There's a couple little pockets here in the lake of itself up on the ceiling where some really active stalactites come down. That all ties into the same natural spring.
It's a moonshine still. Oh, look at that rock formation. But think about it. Or what the guide was saying. This still would have been working if they had not dropped it on the way down here. Authentic Tennessee moonshine still. That's cool.
So right here, if you guys would like to, you can touch this part of the cave. This is granite. Granite doesn't really grow much, so we don't really worry about any oil and bacteria in our skin hurting anything. But also, if you look to the right and then look to the left, you can tell these walls do look pretty different. The wall on the right here is the rubble to the splash site. Over on the left, if you look close enough, you'll notice there's a couple really good drill marks coming through the area. There's a little one right here. Pretty good one right there above your guys' heads. And right back behind you guys there. The best one, though, is straight up above us, right here in the middle. So we did have to drill through and expand this opening. It was once the size of a bicycle tire. When it was first discovered in 1905 by a very brave 13-year-old boy named Ben Sands, he was down here with an oil lantern and a lot of curiosity. He just wanted to see where this tunnel went. He'd been down here several times with his family. He decided to try to find something new. That way he could show his family what he had found. As he starts to explore the cave, he finds that opening, starts to make his way through it. He crawls roughly 45 feet in total. When he stands up at the end, he's in a very large, open, dark room that's filled with water. Now he's not sure how much water is ahead of him, so he starts to ball up clay, toss it all around him. All he could hear was water splash back, so he tried again. Once again, more and more water ahead of him. So he realizes this is not just little puddles here and there. This is a massive room filled with water. This is a lake right here in his backyard. He ran up and he told everybody possible what he had seen, like his friends, his family, all the locals, and they all thought it was a local legend and just kind of pushed it to the side. Sad to say, a lot of people just completely discredited Ben for his story. They thought it was too good to be true. There is a good reason, though. It's not that they were picking on this kid. He was just 13, so I can see why they were skeptical, but also the timing of it. It was during a drought. It was during a severe drought at that. It had not rained in roughly 9 months. There was hardly any water at all on the surface. Why should there be this majestic lake right here in Ben's backyard? It doesn't make sense. Sounds a little bit too good to be true. So, the lake was lost for 59 years. When the lake had been rediscovered, we immediately got in contact with Ben to see if he really and truly was being honest the entire time. He got full credit for discovering North America's largest underground lake at 72 rather than 13. Yeah, it was definitely the biggest I told you so I've ever heard of. Want to make sure Ben is never forgotten again. When we conducted that interview, we got the right to tell his story, and he was happy with that notion. He really wanted to make sure he was never forgotten again. And I completely understand. 59 years is a very long time to be just pushed to the side. We wanted to make sure he was never forgotten, so we got the right to tell his story. And in doing so, we also needed the right to show this off to the world, let alone just Ben. So we got the right to expand this opening. Once again, the rubbles are stacked up really neatly right here. This is called the Ben Sands Tunnel. This is for Ben. This is Ben's lake. Now, as we make our way through here, just make sure to watch your head. You're about to see North America's largest underground lake. This room's large enough to nearly put the Titanic in it twice, side by side. You guys go and follow me?
Alright guys, here we go. I find it really cool how they did this.
I will warn you, we do have an overflow pump. It might go off. That's supposed to happen. If it starts acting like we sprung a leak, you're okay. It tends to go off every 5 minutes, so anytime now.
Oh wow, you guys. Oh wow. And there it is. The Lost Sea. Oh wow. Like I was saying, you guys, or what I should say, the guide was saying, is you can fit the Titanic twice in here. Or is that what you were saying?
Nearly. We're shy of 83 feet. Just hang out right there.
Oh, it's only 83 feet.
All right, I'm gonna put you right here on Team Red. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
All right, head all the way down to the end. Have a seat. All right, my next one.
Oh. Whoa. Oh wow. It's moving a lot, guys. Okay, so let's sit down, shall we? And let's enjoy the greatness that is the Lost Sea. Remember, the largest underground lake in the entire United States. I'm the king of the world. Do 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 do. I'll never let you go, Jack. Ooh, let go, you.
Yeah, give me $20 and make it like a gondola ride.
Here we go. Oh, that's cool.
Alright, so of course as we get taken off here, there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about. I'm going to go ahead and start by saying this. Congratulations, you are now sailing North America's largest underground lake. I think that deserves a nice round of applause. Congratulations, Ben.
Kudos.
Congratulations, you guys, on finding it here today. Now, all in all, this is North America's largest underground lake, and it's absolutely beautiful. You are more than welcome to take pictures the entire time. This room is roughly 800 feet long, 220 feet wide. From the surface of the water to the tallest point in the ceiling, it does range a little bit, but on average is around 60 to 65 feet tall. It's gonna be right here above the boat dock. In the very back of the room is the deepest part of the lake. So think of it like a swimming pool. The further you go back, the deeper it's gonna get. In the very back, it's 70 to 75 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
Now, once again, that answer does change a little bit. It depends on how the water level is going to rise and fall throughout the year. Had you been here about 6 months ago, it was a drought. We were down about 10 feet. So, of course, the water level does change all the time. You never really truly see the exact same thing twice. I know right now this is our normal resting rate, and it's nice to have it back. Now, I know we have had some pretty rough droughts over the years. 2007, probably our most notorious one. we lost 35 feet of water in the span of a year. So that's half the lake gone in a very short amount of time, if you think about it. All in all, it took about a year and a half for the water to come back, but in that time, the damage was done. The boat ride was 2 minutes long. It was pretty sad. The local newspapers at the time, they gave us a lot of funny nicknames. My personal favorite was the Lost Puddle. I thought that was It took a while for us to bounce back from that one, for sure. Now, once things finally started going back to normal, we had a lot of renovations in the progress. You know, the new gift shop was put in, and now we have another new one, so that's going well. A lot of things have changed over the years, for sure. One thing remains the same though, people love coming down here seeing the lake and the trout. The trout were put down here in 1967. They're not native to this lake. There's actually no living creature that was naturally in the water. So the water was just too clean. We believe it wouldn't spawn anything. There was no massive inputs as far as bacteria or anything going on. For this cave had been pretty much unmapped out up until about the 40s to 60s range. There wasn't much going on there. So lack of bacteria means lack of life. There wasn't much going on down here. We stocked the fish in for two main reasons. We wanted to see if they could survive down here, see if that was a possibility to begin with, but also to see if they could find their way out. We had tagged 300 rainbow trout, let them loose down here just to see what would happen. We waited one entire year and all 300 rainbow trout were still down here. Now we wasn't sure what went wrong at the beginning. Surely one of them would have been curious to try to find their way out. We waited all that time and they were all still here, so it didn't make sense quite yet. Turns out the fish can't see in the dark. Can't blame them on that one. And on top of that, we do feed the fish every boat ride, every tour, every day. They got fed 108 times on 4th of July last year. I probably wouldn't have left either. So the fish are here to stay. We decided to keep them. They're just kind of our pets nowadays.
Oh, that's
Biggest
cool.
one down here right now is Bubba. He tends to hang out back at the boat dock, so whenever we get back to there, definitely take a good look for him. He's about 11 pounds. When you see him, you'll know.
There. It's total darkness.
Now we are going to hang out right here, do a couple little rotations around. That way you guys get to check out the fish.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is awesome. Listen to that, guys. Total silence.
So the water here must not have much iron like a lot of other places.
Yeah, it's pretty low content. The main thing's going to be calcium, magnesium, and the limestone dissolving.
I didn't realize that, well, I'm not into fish, so I
I
didn't
get
realize
that.
they were all men or male.
Yeah,
That's
so we
cool.
stocked it all male for the exact reason that they're not native to this lake or native to Tennessee. So
Okay.
we had them originally stocked in because of the cave alone. But back there is the deepest part. You could sink a 7-story building and it would not touch the top of the lake.
Oh, wow.
I know it looks like there's a secret cave going on back there, but what you see is what we've got. This room is basically the shape of a football, if you think of it that way.
Very, very interesting.
Just to get a roundabout estimate of what the ages were. The smaller pieces right here were only just a couple hundred years old, leading all the way to 2082 from right here at the end. So the drapery right here is how we know that the rock fall was at least 2,082 years ago, because drapery will not grow in between two rocks. It has to start growing after. If you look up, you can see the clean cut line from the actual rock fall. It's roughly 500 feet long, 90 tons in total.
Oh,
And this
wow.
place, there's a lot of formations, like the map of Florida right here, made out of stalactites. Next to Florida is Bessie the milking cow. She's our most active stalactite. If you get dripped on, that's called the cave's kiss.
Oh.
That cave's kiss is a year of good luck per drip. So you want
Okay, well, that's good.
All right.
I think I got two.
I have a 100% return rate. Please keep
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Don't do it to me, man, please. I have to set an example.
You can't go back. One.
Coming back up. But let me show you this. This is cool. This is the bear's paw. In the dark, you can rub it for good luck. That's cool. It's wet. That is awesome. I remember touching this as a kid. Only thing is, I'm way taller now. and it seems so much smaller. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. Yes, I'm tired. We all live in a yellow submarine. I am officially worn out. It has been a while since I've been to the Lost Sea, as I was saying, but I did not realize that it was 14 stories deep. Yes, that is a big giant skyscraper you're walking down on. But it was awesome, least to say. But before we end the vlog, you guys, there's a couple of things I want to check out. And if you all remember a very much older video that I did a while back when I was doing my Florida vlogging, by the way, check out that series, it was really cool. I did a video on the old yellow train that's out here, and I heard from a little birdie, well actually the guide, I was told that they have got it in storage now and they are working on it. So I thought I'd walk around the village a little bit. Looks like they are working on it. I think they're doing some renovations, I believe. Right across from that, they also have the Moonshine still. I think this is an original one that was used, like an actual one, but I don't think it's really used for anything anymore. Of course, you can never go wrong with old school farm equipment. And it looks like nothing is really going on at the blacksmith shop. But then again, every time I've ever been here, I've never seen the blacksmith out here. Huh. Looks like one of the storage rooms are opened. Look at the size of that bellows. Like everything that is needed to make various different things is all here. Sadly, every time I'm here, I've never seen a blacksmith. It looks like this may have been an old admission room at one point. Cool. Look at those old chairs. Now this is what I really wanted to see. I wanted to see what they've been doing out here. It says closed, do not enter. So we are going to adhere to that. But obviously, I mean, you know, that it's not really being used anymore. You can see some track right over there, so I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with this. But anyway, guys, remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care and that y'all want to see more awesome videos. So without further ado, you guys, this vlog is over.